But I'm sure there are going to be many of you guys who can comment below and say this has happened to you. Say where you've seen situations where you thought you put your best foot forward and did what you could, and still she made you the bad guy. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stephan Laboussiere, aka Stephan Speaks, back with another dating and relationship advice video. This one is for the men, and it's gonna be about you will always be the bad guy. Damn. Subscribe to this channel, like this video, be sure to share it. And you know what? I want the men to vote below. Have you had a situation where even when you try to do right, you were still painted as the bad guy? So let's get into it. Now, I want to make this clear. I am not trying to discourage you when it comes to dealing with women. All right. This is not to say that you can't have successful, healthy relationships. But I do think it's important to discuss this dynamic that I have found, and some of you may dispute, but I have found that in most situations, if not damn near all, a man has to understand that if you're going to interact, date, get to know a woman, and ultimately you're going to be unable to provide her with the desired outcome that she's looking for, there's a very good chance you will end up being the bad guy. Now listen, I'm not telling you this again to make you not deal with women or to throw your hands up in frustration. I'm telling you this because it's important for you to understand how to better handle these things, how to better navigate through these processes. So to give you an example, I remember many years ago, don't judge me, but I'm just going to keep it real with y'all. Many years ago, I met a woman, all right, we exchanged numbers, and from the jump at that time, I had told her, like, I wasn't trying to get in a relationship at that time. And so she understood where my head was at. We would hang out here and there, and we talked about how, okay, well, you know what, since I don't know, or I'm not feeling the whole relationship thing at that moment, she's not comfortable trying to have sex either. I said, cool, I'm okay with that. We don't gotta have sex, all right? So we weren't having sex. We were clearly discussing what it was, all right? But we would still hang out, and to be, again, honest with y'all, there were times where we would still be intimate, but we did not have sex. Anyways, time goes on, and I still didn't change my position of me desiring more. And again, I repeat, this was many years ago, so do not try to judge me. But anyways, I hadn't changed my stance. And then eventually we kind of faded a little bit, but we would still have moments where we would be in contact. And then I remember one time we reconnected and we were talking and we were hanging out in person. And she said, well, you know, you realize you have, and I don't want to say the word, but you have F-boy tendencies, all right? So most of y'all, hope you guys understand what I'm saying. You're kind of an a-hole, all right? So, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? What do you mean? You know, in my head, I've been honest with this woman. I respected boundaries. We didn't have sex. Like, what are you talking about? And she had mentioned, like, you know, it feels like you reel me in and you push me away. You reel me in, you push me away. And again, in my mind, I'm thinking I have done nothing inconsistent with what I've said from day one. But then it dawned on me that because I was unable to give her what she truly desired, it created a frustration within her that now starts to put me in a negative light, where she now starts to look at me as this bad guy. But I'm going to go even deeper than that. Some of you guys may have had situations where women have created a scenario, real or not, where now she's claimed or proclaiming that you've done something wrong, even if you haven't. I know this sounds crazy, but I know some of you are following me here. And she does that because she has to paint you as the bad guy to make it easier for her to let go of you. All right, let me repeat that. She has to paint you as the bad guy to make it easier for her to let go of you. Essentially, for her to be able to pull back whatever emotions and feelings have developed in her interaction with you, she now has to create a scenario, again, whether real or fake, that will allow her to view you as a bad guy, as an F-boy or whatever. Now, as a man, I need you to be aware of this because one, I do not want you to internalize or get caught up in that moment. I've seen a lot of men who in that moment, you don't realize what's actually happening and you get caught up in trying to either defend yourself so hard that it ends up frustrating you and putting you in a bad place, or you end up lashing out. And even worse, you take this bad experience and you now project, or you take that negative energy and you pour it into some other woman. Some other woman now becomes a casualty of war that occurred from the last situation. But when you start to understand why this is happening, you can, again, avoid internalizing it, avoid passing on that bad energy, but also understanding how to better navigate these situations. Now, when I say better navigate, understand this. I will always encourage the men and people in general, be as honest as possible. Be as transparent as possible. Again, now, in my story, I was those things, and I still end up being the bad guy. That's why the title of this video is, You Will Always Be the Bad Guy. But I've grown to the point where, okay, I get it. I understand. It doesn't mean it's fair. It doesn't mean it's okay and acceptable. And if a woman's watching this, I want you to be honest with yourself about if you've done these types of things and how you need to better handle the situation. But the video is for men, so let's keep the focus there right now. I don't want you to get caught up in nonsense, all right? And I want you to understand that, again, what she's doing is a defense mechanism, all right? And it's not for you to internalize or take personal. It's for you to basically be aware and to just kind of shrug it off, to be honest with you. Not in a dismissive type of way, not in a way, again, that's going to cause you to react in a negative manner or lash out, but in a way that just says, okay, you know what, I understand that because she's not getting what she needs and she needs to find some way to make this easier for her, she's going to say what she's going to say, she's going to do what she's going to do. Let it go, all right? But also understand that this is another reason why you got to be careful with getting involved with too many different women, man. I know some of you want to feel like you should just be able to live your life however, and that's your choice. But please do understand that in involving yourself with too many different women, there becomes this risk of all these different negative situations and drama that can occur. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say this happens 100% of the time, but I'm sure there are going to be many of you guys who can comment below and say this has happened to you. Say where you've seen situations where you thought you put your best foot forward and did what you could, and still she made you the bad guy. Now, even though this video is for men, I do have to make a quick pivot and speak to the women who might be watching this. It's important for you to understand that many of you are being fed stories of men that are lies. Many of you are being told that all these men are so bad, all these men are dogs, but you don't realize that your friend, your mother, your sister, your auntie, whoever, is giving you a skewed perception because, again, as I said earlier, she has to find a way to make this easier for her to accept that this didn't work out, to accept having to let go, to accept maybe the fact that even she messed up, but she doesn't want to face that reality, so she has to project the mistake onto him. She has to project the downfall of that relationship onto the man. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that every situation is a woman putting it on the man and lying to you. But I am saying it's happening way more than some of y'all realize. And the problem is it now creates a negative perception of men in general where y'all start to believe men aren't good. Men are dogs. There are no good men out there when what's really going on is there are a lot of them. But your mother, sister, homegirl, whoever, she was the one that was the problem. She was the one who couldn't handle it. She was the one who ignored his honesty from day one. She was the one who acted like she was cool with what he said he wanted, only to switch up on him later. So just understand that don't be so quick to embrace the stories being told of situations that you don't have all the information about, that you don't get to hear both sides about, because they're not always what you think they are. Now back to the men. Again, you'll always be the bad guy. and it is what it is, man. But that's why you just got to make sure you always still put your best foot forward. You do not let these experiences contaminate you and make you into a bad guy. All right. Don't lose your character. Don't become someone else. All right. Don't lose sight of the path you need to be walking because of situations where certain women may project this negativity onto you. All right. So it's just something that I've seen happen a lot. And again, I've gone through it myself and I felt like I should share this in a video. So I hope this was helpful to you. Again, leave your comments below. Has this happened to you? Hell, if you're a woman and you're willing to be honest about it, tell us if you did it yourself. Let's just be real. Let's have a conversation about it. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. First reason why women play games is because they're getting bad advice. All right. Here's the thing, and let me get even more specific. Negative influences.